Hi guys, welcome to a midnight video. The time is currently 8 past midnight, but I'm feeling like I'm gonna make a video about this topic because it might help a few people who might be going into the same industry that I've been in, or who are in the industry that I'm in, or just general life advice for some people. So I've been in the webcam industry, like the adult entertainment webcam industry, if you didn't already know that, for a while, for like 8 years, which time has literally flown past. I think it's been 7 or 8 years, but yeah, time has flown past. It's gone extremely quickly. I've learned a lot of lessons. I've been very privileged in this industry because I've had very supportive, mainly like 99% of people have been extremely supportive, extremely kind, generous. They've get some people I'm friends with who follow me, like I still contact them. They don't even tip me or give me money anymore. So it's not just about the financial side of it. Like some people that you meet on there, just genuinely like nice people. Like they'll do anything for you. And for some reason, I don't know why it is, it might sound a little bit weird, but you sometimes build a connection with your fans as well. Like it's so weird, like you meet people through a screen. You have to be very careful, of course, because you never actually know who is on the other side. But I've had like just some really generous, nice people. You can just tell like they're super nice. There's people who would, obviously never. We'll get into details later about like how to protect yourself in this industry as well. But obviously never share your address. But if you're getting sent gifts or whatever, make sure you use like a PO box or somewhere safe where that's not like directly your address, because obviously that's quite risky, especially when you're dealing with things of this nature. But no, I've had people send me like birthday gifts and everything like that. Like people are just so nice, like so genuine. So without further ado, you obviously make a lot of connections like when you're in this industry, and it's something I probably didn't expect at first, because when I went on there I just thought, oh, like it's just like they're on the other side of the screen. Like you almost like don't process that that number on your screen. Like you see like maybe there's 100 people watching you to start off with. If sometimes it can be like 1,000, 2,000, but because you're sitting in front of a computer, you don't directly see them either. So you have that number of people watching your stream, and it could be like, yeah, it could be quite a lot of people, but it never actually like registers as like, oh, each one of these people is like, a real person. Obviously some of them might actually be bots, but the majority of them are probably real people, and that is kind of scary and kind of crazy at the same time. Like it's just, you obviously have a great opportunity there to build like legitimate connections, and I've been very lucky in the sense that, like I said, I've met some amazing people, and that's kind of the first thing I want to talk about. Like I'm extremely grateful because I've made some amazing connections, and I feel as though like whenever I need advice, and like it's like I've been able to go to certain people and seek advice from a couple of my fans as well, because like sometimes it's hard when you're doing this kind of industry to like just go to your family, and I know my family are probably going to see this video, but sometimes it can be quite hard because it's like specific things you want to talk about, or just general things that you can't really discuss with other people, and like it can be quite nice to fall back on like someone that you think you can trust. So that's quite nice in that regard. And another thing I want to talk about is like how I actually got into the webcam industry in the first place, because it's quite a big leap from where I was beforehand, which was like I had a very normal life, very nice, caring family. Really, like my stepdad raised me for the most part, and yeah, it was like the whole family arrangement was super nice. We were very privileged and had a great education. I did very well in school. I got like straight A's and everything like that. So it's quite a big leap to go from like straight A's to like being in the webcam industry. You know what I mean? So I actually went to University of Surrey to start off with, and yeah, I got a first class degree in business management. But at the same time, I was at the university. That's when I started getting into the webcam stuff. So I was always aware of this industry, and something about it intrigued me ever since I was quite young. And I guess it's kind of bad for people who are my age to be seeing this kind of content on the internet, but when you like go on these kind of websites to watch some stuff, there's like adverts and stuff, so the webcam industry used to pop up in that respect, and I was always intrigued by that, like the just that whole world, and I didn't really think too much of it, but I was always like, kind of intrigued. And as I got into university, like I met an American girl there, and we thought like, why not give it a go together? And like it was kind of my idea. I was always intrigued by it, and like she was kind of open, so we started doing it together. And I just found it really fun. Like I don't know, like there's something exhilarating about being in front of the camera for me. So I guess I'm a little bit fucked up in that regards. But it was just like fun, and like at the time I was also just working in a clothes store called like Jack Wills, and it was minimum wage. It was like £8 an hour because I was like 29, 19 or 20 or something. So it was like £8 an hour for that age group in 2018. And yeah, like obviously I didn't really care about doing it for the finances at the time. Like I just found the whole thing fun, and that is kind of weird, right? Because it's a big risk, and this is one thing I want to talk about as well, because it's such a big risk when you do it, and especially if you show your face and people make the connection between like your family see you, because that is one of the most terrifying things about doing it at first. Like your family might see you, and how are you going to explain things to them? Will they accept it? Will they not accept it, etc.? And that was one thing I had to really struggle with as well. We'll come on to that later. But I don't know, like it's hard to justify it when you don't make any money, right? So like if your family see you like once you're a few years in, and you can say, oh, like I do this, but look, this, like I've kind of made some really good money and I'm self-sufficient and everything, you can like kind of justify your position in like your partaking in the webcam industry, I guess, in the adult industry. But if you're at the start and like you can't yet justify what you're doing, it just seems a bit weird to everybody. And especially in 2018, 2019, this is kind of before like the whole OnlyFans thing, and like now everybody's doing it, so I guess it's like more okay. But when I started doing it, it was just like something very taboo, something no one really talked about, and like no one really did it. And I guess that I got in quite early, and that's probably why I have quite a few followers, and I did quite well because I was kind of like in there when there wasn't many people. There was a couple of main male streamers, but there wasn't really many. The industry was very dominated by, it still is dominated by women, and yeah, that's just how it's always going to be probably. But there wasn't many guys, and now I see there's a lot more guys. There's a lot more British guys, so the competition's getting pretty fierce. I'm getting older, and I did make the decision to quit the webcam industry at the end of the year, and it's something I'm going to come on to in a bit. But it's just been a wild journey, and yeah, being able to like now sit here and reflect on it is such a unique experience. Like it's almost emotional because like I've learned some very valuable life lessons. I've had some terrible situations that I've also gone through because of this industry, but I've also been able to see the world in such an amazing like way. Like I've been able to have the financial freedom to go where I want, pretty much when I want as well, and go and study abroad, do my masters in Belgium, and being able to fund all of that directly as a result of doing this industry. It's just been like such a privilege as well. But at the same time, like there's a balance, right? Like you're making a lot of money, but at the same time there's always going to be a trade-off, and the trade-off can sometimes be maybe your mental health, your physical health, because it's task, like so some days you just don't want to do it, and like you're pushing yourself to do things like to do like, you know, streaming, you don't want to do it. Like I'm not saying it's like being in the coal mines or anything. It's not like hard work, but it's just like sometimes it can be mentally draining because, you know, you are sitting in front of a lot of people, and those people probably have expectations for you to smile. Like, I mean, you know, it's not like extremely difficult, but like sometimes you have to sit on there, you have to like, you know, just put your like good mood on, because if you sit on there and you're not in the best mood, people can tell, and you know, you're just going to have a terrible stream. So you have to really get into the right mindset, bang on some good music, and like have a good stream. But the next subject I kind of want to talk about is my family actually like finding out about me being in the webcam industry, which was, it kind of came about in a weird way. It's just a weird situation. So I was living, you know, I went to uni and I was living temporarily during the start of COVID in a house with like a Chinese girl. And this Chinese girl was kind of a bit weird. Like we were always best friends, like during the second year of university, but in the third year we decided to get like a place together. And then she decided to like, I think she just like kind of threatened, like we started to not get on very well. Like I thought we were just friends, and like I was dating another girl, and she got really annoyed. And anyway, this kind of normal bullshit was going on. But then she started to threaten to like tell the landlord that I was in the adult industry and stuff like this, and the situations got a bit crazy, and I was feeling a bit down about that. So I ended up opening up to my mother, and she was very accepting of the industry. She's always been very supportive of whatever I've done. Whenever I make mistakes, she's been very supportive of that too. So I'm very lucky to have such a good mother. Um, you know, I think obviously it's not something people want their child, or sorry, their offspring to be doing. But you know, she's kind of accepted that. That's who I am. She says I can live the way I want to live. My mistakes are on me. You know, whatever happens, but you know, she's happy that I'm happy, and that's just how it is. The rest of my family, again, they're very open. I've had a very open family. Like we talk about the weirdest stuff ever. So I'm very lucky. My uncle's probably the first people who found out, and they just kept it secret, you know. So pretty lucky in that regard. I think they already knew. So when my mum told them, they kind of already knew. So yeah, I've just been very fortunate having such a close-knit, good family. Sorry, my eyes are super itchy. I've got hay fever. So opening up to my family turned out to be like such a great thing, like a weight off my back, because I was able to then open up to them about the industry, and it almost became like a bit too much sometimes though, because it kind of became like, it's moved away from this now because I just opened up about it and said like stop talking about it, but it almost became like a subject of conversation at a lot of like family barbecues and whatnot. So it was kind of a bit overwhelming in that regard, but it was like no big deal, right? I'm a very chill guy, so like yeah, I just talked about it. But there's just certain points where I was like, okay, let's just, you know, stop talking about that kind of thing now. Financially is the next thing I want to talk about, because the finance side of it is kind of crazy. Like the first couple of years, I was just, you know, it was bonus money. You know, I had a job. I was at university, so I had like the student loan income, and then I had a job in Jack Wheels and a few like small jobs here and there, like one at a garden centre. So I was making like barely any money there. And, you know, as I said, I didn't really start the webcam industry just for the interest of money. I actually did it because I just, for some reason, because I'm kind of fucked up, just really started to like, I just really enjoyed being in front of the camera, something exhilarating, etc. But the money side of it, like, you know, I went from probably the first year, it was just like, I did webcam every now and again, made about 10k for the year, so it's just good bonus money, you know what I mean? And then like the next year was like 20k, and then it just seemed to like just double every year basically. And now it's kind of like, you know, I'm probably tapering off because I'm getting old. But I've been very fortunate in the financial side of it, because, you know, 3 years in, during first or second year of COVID, I was making like, you know, 40k, and then it doubled to like 80, and then probably peaked at like 160 and whatever. So I don't want to like, talk about too much about the money, but obviously with any like industry like this, the first thing you need to do is like just make sure your taxes are in check, because it got to a point in like 2023 where I just kind of had like issues, like I had my banks being frozen and stuff like this. I always submitted my tax returns as best as I could, because like it's kind of fucking complicated in the UK. Like it's hard to navigate. Like you go past the VAT threshold, but you make like once you go past 85k in the UK, you have to start paying VAT. But you're like, how the fuck do I even do that? Like, how do I register? Or like, do I even need to pay it because I'm just making tokens online? Like, does that even count? Like, how can I even charge VAT? But yeah, so technically Chaturbate is outside the scope of UK VAT, but then OnlyFans isn't, and I also made money in OnlyFans, so it's kind of complicated, guys, not gonna lie. So in that 2023 year, I ended up getting an accountant. I had money coming in like all directions. I probably haven't even fucking done it right, to be honest with you. But I've done it the best I can. Like, that's all I can do. Like, I've done my tax situation the best I can. I've paid a lot of tax, hopefully. I expect at some point things are probably going to come back to, like, bite me in the ass with it all. But I've tried to do it the best I can, and that's all I can do at the end of the day. Whatever happens, happens in that regard. But I've got an accountant. He's sorting everything for me, and so it is what it is. I might get a better accountant soon because, to be honest, he's not that great. But yeah, so we'll try and get everything sorted properly. Make sure everything's in check with the tax. But I've paid a lot. So yeah, if you're starting the webcam industry, and I'll get on to like whether you should start. Like, I don't want to influence you too much because it's your own personal choice. But it's something. The financial side of it is something that it has pros and cons, right? You make a lot of money, but at the same time, there's a certain element of risk of being in this industry, and the risk is that you're exposing your face and your body online, and online has permanency. So if your pictures are on the internet, is basically what I'm trying to say. If your pictures are online and your nudes are online, essentially, then people are going to see them forever, and at some point AI is probably going to get so good that you can bang in a picture of my face into ChatGPT, and then you're going to see everything about me online, and that's a reality of what's going to happen, guys. You're going to be able to take anyone's face, reverse image search it, and to an extent you already can, but it's going to get very good to the extent where if you're trying to apply for a normal job in the future, and I say normal job, that's probably going to offend some people, but I don't really see the webcam industry as a job. That's just personal. That's personal opinion, right? Because that's a different topic of debate. I just see it as like it's a form of income, but I wouldn't class it as like a physical job. So if you want to get a normal job in the future, it could be very difficult because the people who are hiring you probably don't want your nudes to be all over the internet. It depends on what kind of job you have. Some are going to be more accepting than others, and especially if you ever want to become like fucking teacher, then like it's probably not the best thing to be getting into this industry, because that's a very risky situation you're going to get yourself into if anybody finds out. So yeah, just be careful with the just really think about, if you're thinking about getting into this industry, really think about whether it's worth the long-term risk of your images being online forever, because people will record your shows, they'll upload them to other sites, you can try and get them taken down, but at the end of the day, it's like fighting a losing battle, because they're going to be everywhere. And they're going to be everywhere forever. I've tried to get some taken. I mean, I don't actually really give a shit about my pictures being online, but it's something you need to bear in mind. It's part of doing anything that makes you in the public eye, I guess you could say that. But yeah, that is just how it is. So if you're thinking about getting into it, that is the first thing I would consider. Do you want your images to be online forever? And if the answer is no, then do not do the webcam industry. Even if you're persuaded by the financial side of it, because that can be very alluring, but it's not worth it. Because at the end of the day, right, I do believe that anyone can make if you're just after money, then it's also not the right industry for you. If you think I'm gonna go online and I'm gonna make a lot of money naked, then you know it's just not the right industry for you. Like if you want to get into this, like you have to be like I was like you have to be exhilarated by it. You have to be like really, you know, comfortable doing it. You have to not be like I guess you could be anxious and nervous, and you can probably get over that. But like you have to, it has to be something you want to do, is what I'm trying to get at. It has to be something you actually like, not passionate about, because that's kind of a weird thing to say, but something you just want to do. Because you know, if you're just after the money and you're just sitting there, say like begging people for their tips, then you're probably not going to do very well. And if you're on there and you're having a good time and you're interacting with everybody, you know, as a consequence of the enjoyment you're getting out of it, you're probably going to end up doing well. And that's something I've found. So I've got about, yeah, so I've been doing it for 7 or 8 years. I've garnered about 175,000 followers on Chaturbate. And, you know, I've been very privileged to be in that position. Last year I also won an award, which was a crazy experience. I guess I'll just talk about that now because, yeah, the XBiz Awards, it's like a yearly event, and it's a European, they have an American one and they have a European one. Obviously I was nominated for like the male streamer of the year award in Europe, the European one, and I won it. But to be honest with you, there's still a lot of room. Like if you're looking at this video and you're a guy, there's still a lot of room for male people in this industry, because there's actually not that many guys still. Like it's very saturated on the female side, but on the men's side there's like, you know, there's not many. Like I'm not that attractive, like you can see, like it's all about lighting and everything, but at the moment the lighting's kind of bad and I look like dog shit, right? So it's about how you control the lighting, how about like how you make, like obviously you have to go to the gym, keep physically fit, etc. But you don't have to be that good looking. Like if I can do it, anybody can do it, really. So yeah, it's not the most saturated on the men's side. So if you're really looking to get into it, then give it a shot if you really want to do it. But yeah, so the XMA Awards, it was great. You've met a lot of like-minded people. Like it was the first time actually that I've gone to a place and I've been like, okay, there's actually people who are like me. Like there's people who are like kind of like wired a bit differently, you know what I mean? Like we're comfortable being in front of cameras. Like it's not a normal thing to be into, I would say. Like it's just a bit of a weird thing. And then I realized, okay, like I was sitting at like a Chaturbate dinner and I realized, oh, you know, these people are they're kind of like me. And that was the first time I've experienced that. It was something that was kind of just like, it made me feel like I was part of something. I can kind of hear a noise. Not good for midnight, right? But it just felt like I was part of, you know, like a community, I could say. So in that regard, it was just a nice experience. I really enjoyed it. But at the same time, like there's people there who their sole focus is just like, oh, how many followers do you have? How much money are you making? Da, 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 da. Like I don't want to talk about that. I just want to enjoy the time. But most people there are really nice. Oh God, I met some really nice people. Shout out to like Kyle and Cam, Callum and Cole. Jane Masquerade was there with her husband or boyfriend. They were really nice as well. So I've met some like, oh, and there was like this American porn star called like I think it was like Brittany Andrews. I met. She just like came over to my table and started talking to me. Apparently she's quite a big deal in America. She was really nice as well. So like so many nice people, guys. But at the same time, I was there and I was asking myself the question, like some people were there, right? They're like in their 30s and 40s and 50s, and I'm in my later 20s now. And I was asking myself the question, do I really want to be like them or like this in a few years or 10, 20 years? Do I want to be doing the same thing? And for some people, they do want to do that, and that's their decision. That's great. But for me, I just felt like I didn't want to, you know, be doing this. I don't think the long-term mental toll will be worth it in the end. I think that this year, the end of this year is the year I'm going to leave the industry, because I've been going through some bullshit, and also like I think I'm capable of more, you know, like if I can move away from like, you know, being online and this like sexual world and just focus on other things. Like I've been really getting back into my running lately. You can see my other running videos, shoe reviews. I've been really getting back into my running. I've been trying to focus on other things a lot, and I've taken a bit of a hit on my income, but I've been just much happier just focusing on like the simplicity and simple things in life. So that's good in that regard. And I just couldn't see myself being like these, you know, like in this industry in 10 or 20 years, basically. So, and you know, like once you get into your later 20s, that's when you have a lot like of social, what's the word? People expect more from you. If you're in your early 20s, like you can, you know, move around a bit in careers and whatever. But in your later 20s, and especially by the time you turn 30, you like want to be, people expect you to have like a, you know, a solid career. And honestly, like I've been thinking about this a lot, but like the way AI is going as well, like how many jobs are even going to get replaced anyways? Like, I don't know, like what the future holds for me, because I could become an accountant, which I've been thinking about, or in the finance field. But like I feel like accountancy and finance are going to be some of the first jobs to get replaced by AI. And I don't want to offend anybody by saying that, but like, you know, what in finance or accounting like can AI bots not do? And that's, you know, that's a tough one, because that's probably one of the things I really wanted to get into, but now I'm just debating whether I should because of the threat of AI, because I think it's going to be one of the first things that are going to get replaced. So we'll see, guys. I'm thinking of making my own business, my own running shoe shop, and, you know, AI can't replace that kind of thing, can it? Obviously, it's a bit disrupted by the online world, but I'm thinking of having like a running shoe shop with a cafe inside, and like some health and wellness fitness stuff, maybe like some ice baths, sauna, etc. And that's the thing, like being in this industry has allowed me to save up quite a reasonable amount of money after taxes, I guess. Not as much as, you know, you probably think, but just enough to be able to go and like say, oh, I'm going to set up a business now and reinvest it into something more long term. And I think that's the best play that I can do right now, is to like say, oh, I'm really passionate about running. I'm going to make a running shoe shop, and, you know, it's going to be a job where obviously I have to invest a lot of time and effort into setting it up, but it's something that I really want to do, something that I'm really going to enjoy. So I think that's the best decision that I can make right now, and I'm super excited for that to happen. Obviously, anything can happen in life, but yeah, I'm excited to give it a go. And if it fails, it fails, and, you know, we move on to the next best thing, which I'm not sure what that is yet. But we'll see what the future holds, guys. Obviously, I briefly talked about some of the issues I've been going through, but one of the main issues is that, you know, a lot of people out there are there to do no goods. And what I mean by that is that if you put your images online, not only are you sometimes going to get insulted as a consequence of just being online, some people are going to take your images and use them in malicious ways. And it's one of the biggest problems of being in this industry, and it's something you need to think very carefully about. And to be honest with you, if you're thinking about getting into this industry, I would probably say don't do it. That is what I'd say, because some of the issues you'll go through is just not worth it, guys. And it might not happen to you, but it happened to me. So if it can happen, if it happened to me, it can happen to you too. And just in general, like just don't focus on sex, guys, in life. Just focus on things that you're building things, building real world things. You're interacting with other people. You're not isolating yourself in front of a computer. I think you're gonna have a much more meaningful, impactful life if you do that. And that's something I come to realize. But yeah, so people can take your images, use them in malicious ways. And what happened is someone obviously took my images, pictures from my Instagram, pictures from my YouTube, and here I am, an idiot, still uploading stuff. But someone took my pictures from, you know, everywhere basically, and my nude content from the internet. And I don't actually have evidence this happened, but a dad of a girl messaged me saying that someone made a Snapchat account, and this Snapchat was like big_Ben with a few numbers at the end. And yeah, apparently someone messaged his daughter, but using my pictures, and obviously his daughter was quite young, and I ended up having to go to the police to report the situation. Obviously that made me feel pretty like scared, vulnerable, and like obviously I had a lot of empathy for what happened. But the dad of the girl was obviously, you know, rightfully angered by the fact that he thought it was me. and he literally found out everything about me. He found out, guys, you think like I thought I was pretty good at like keeping my stuff, like my location, everything locked down, but you make one mistake and someone will find it. Like I accidentally, like I locked all of my social media profiles down. Like no one could access like my images or friends list or anything on Facebook, Instagram, etc., etc. But on Reddit, I had like a private account on Reddit, and I was asking for like a few Garmin friends because I wanted to like compete and like get some points on the Garmin app. My Strava was completely locked down, by the way, but on Garmin, like my friends could view my location, but like I was just adding a few random people. So this guy like somehow managed to find my Reddit, my personal Reddit, like who I only had like a few followers on. And then he found the link to my Garmin, and then through my Garmin, he found like where I've been running, my gym location, everything, and like he was threatening to come and hurt me. So guys, he's apologized for that now. Like, but the thing is that, you know, I didn't cause any of that. Like, it wasn't even me, obviously, like talking to his daughter. So it's crazy. Like, you know, I didn't do anything, but like, if that guy didn't tell me he was going to come and hurt me, and then eventually like he knew where I live, so like he could have been there any time. Like one day I could have been walking to the gym and I could have got attacked or threatened or whatever, right? Like that could have happened, and that's scary to think about. That's really scary because I didn't even know that there was a threat of me. Like I thought like in my little silly I was pretty safe, but it turns out I wasn't. And like now someone might even know that I'm here, like, or you know, wherever I am, and you have to be bloody careful. Like you make one tiny mistake, like going on Reddit and asking people to add you as a friend, and the whole thing backfires. And like, you know, not only that, but there's people out there using your images to make Tinder accounts, Grinder accounts, porn profiles, Snapchat accounts, talking to kids. Guys, like the whole situation is just not worth getting into the industry. And you know, if someone said to me like, how much money would I have to pay you for that to happen, like, you know, it would have to be like, I wouldn't even accept any amount really. Like even if they like, I just wouldn't accept it, guys. So now like that's where I drew the line, and I was like, okay, I'm leaving at the end of the year because there is no money that someone could pay me for all of that bullshit to happen, guys. Like I was, you know, you have to put your physical safety first. You have to put your mental health first, but most of all, your physical safety has to come first at all times. And like, you know, it's just incredulous what can happen when you know you're in this industry. And you know, that's the first time I really thought, fuck, you know, I need to change things. And you know, maybe that happening in the most fucked up way, that happening you know, changed my perspective. And you know, I'm trying to get everything sorted with the police. Police aren't the best, but they're probably investigating things that I don't know about because they can't really tell you, right? At the end of the day, like if I said to the police, oh, someone's using my images to, you know, talk to children, then they have an obligation to also investigate like my social media accounts, and that's fine because I haven't done anything. And I literally told them that like I'm willing to give them my phone, anything I need to investigate, because obviously that wasn't me. So yeah, obviously, I think the police haven't been great, but they're probably investigating things that I don't know about, which is fine. I just hope that in the end, everything, like the guy who did that is going to get caught, because that really did upset me a lot. I was pretty much in tears quite a lot about that, and you know, I had to leave my city because I didn't feel safe. But I'm going to spend some time abroad this summer, so just to rethink things, you know. And you know, in the winter, that's when I'm going to start really planning and implementing my running store. And yeah, that's exciting too. So in a way, it's really made me shift. And sometimes in life, you need this like monumental moment that moves you into a certain direction, and potentially that is what happened. But anything can happen. It could be the worst thing that could happen to me. It could be like a really good thing. Like I'm not saying like obviously that kind of sounds bad. Like it could be like good in a sense that it's pushed me into a different direction. Whereas if I just like that didn't happen, I might have just stayed into the industry, might have encountered more problems, and might have never had the chance to be able to pivot at this specific moment. But as I said, like, I have a lot of empathy for the victims of whoever's getting messaged by someone that's used my pictures on Instagram, Tinder, and Snapchat, etc., etc. Because I actually did have a girl from Ireland as well who called me. Oh God, like, this is the thing, guys. Like, how the fuck does someone even get your phone number from the internet? But this girl I managed to find my phone number on, like, I can't remember what she said, but it was like some bizarre way she managed to find my phone number and link this Tinder account back to me. And she said that someone's been messaging her, asking her to meet and everything. And she was from Ireland, which is kind of weird because Isle of Man is where this other incident occurred, I think. And then she's from Ireland, which is kind of close to the Isle of Man. So it could potentially be the same guy. Obviously, I'm like not near there at all. But yeah, she managed to find me, and she said like someone's been contacting her, asking her to meet and everything, and she realized like the profile was fake, and she was really concerned, but she wasn't actually willing to help me go to the police, which is fine. She said she thinks it's someone from her workplace, because apparently this guy knew everything about her workplace, which is like really scary for her. And again, like, you know, if something happens to her and someone's used my images to meet her, then the police are automatically going to like look into this Tinder profile and see my face when it's not me. And this is the modern world we live in, guys. Like, anything can fucking happen. Like, someone could do that and the police think it's you. They'll obviously at some point find out that it wasn't you, but for a short while you're going to get investigated, and it's crazy. I've also been the victim of identity fraud, because someone used my, I don't know if this is related to the webcam industry at all, but someone apparently managed to get a picture of my passport. I think, like, you know, when you have to like sign up to these webcam sites, you have to upload a picture of your ID and you holding your ID and everything. So potentially, like, that information got leaked, or my computer had a virus potentially, and that information got leaked, and then someone was trying to, you know, use my passport to make bank accounts and use it fraudulently, and I got all of my accounts frozen because they thought it was me when it wasn't me. So I've had a lot of impersonation stuff, guys, and that's another issue. You just have to be careful in this industry. Obviously, I've made some glaring errors with regards to my own safety, and, you know, but you make one tiny mistake, like making a Reddit account and asking people to add you on Garmin, and some fucking guy is gonna find you, like, find everything where you've been running and everything like that. Like, that's ridiculous, isn't it? But that is the reality of how dangerous of how dangerous of a hobby this is, really. And that's something I've been thinking about a lot. But I don't want to like speak purely negatively. I've had some, as I've said, I've had some great interactions with fans, met some amazing, truly, genuinely nice people, and put myself into a good financial position by the age of 27, which is like, I'm in a better financial position than I probably ever thought I was going to be in. So that's good. That's good, because I didn't, like, you know, I had a really good life. We have a nice 3-bed house with a garden, and had a great education and everything. So I never like was really hard done by. But at the same time, as a kid, you know, there's 3 of us, 2 parents, both working. They both worked, but they worked like not the best paying jobs. I think my brother's dad worked in like a window factory. He worked really hard to put food on the table. And yeah, so I just didn't have, what I'm trying to say is, like, you know, I've gone from an experience of not having much, like not being able to afford much as a kid, to being able, like, I think that's the best way to do it though. It's like, it makes you appreciate the value of things so much more if you put yourself into a position where you can afford things. Because I remember doing paper rounds on a Thursday night in the freezing cold in like November, December, January, you know, when I was like 15, 16, just to earn £7 per round for like 2 or 3 hours. So I remember like my hands being numb, and I still have like these calluses on my hands from holding the newspapers. So putting yourself into a position where you can afford things is always going to feel nice. But in this industry, that also has some consequences. So you have to really balance those And obviously, I know some people in the industry that wear masks, that they like wear masks when they go online, and that's probably one of the best things you can do, because, you know, you're protecting more of your identity. But at the same time, like, people might still find out that who you are and everything like that. So just be careful. I hope you enjoyed listening to me ramble about my experience in the webcam industry. And yeah, I'm glad to share it with you on social media, and hopefully I'll see you for the next video.